So this morning, we're gonna go on the first hike of the year to Swatara State Park, pulled in there at Sand Siding Road. That's where we're gonna start our hike. So we're gonna start off on the Swatara Rail Trail. We're gonna end up at Bordner Cabin. There's a little snowman up here. Looks like the snowman lost his head. Let's see if we can fix it. There you go. See you later, buddy. It is the middle of February. Unfortunately, we have snow, but it is melting, and that's a good thing because at Bordner Cabin, there is a waterfall there. I never really got to see it like when it was really flowing good. It was either like the middle of summer or in the middle of winter, like when everything's frozen. Now will be a good time to see it because we just had some rain and a lot of snow melt. So the waterfall should be flowing pretty good. And now we're coming up on the bridge that we have to cross. And this is to Bear Hole Trail. And Bear Hole Trail is what's going to take us to the cabin. And this bridge crosses over the Swatara Creek. Bear Hole Trail. There's an ice jam down there actually. If you look down there, downstream. A little ice jam down there. Oh yeah, you see it. Yeah, up there too. Yeah. Ice jammed up there. Quite a bit of ice there. Yeah. Oh wow. Those are some big sheets of ice down there. Big feet. Yep, just over this little rise here, we'll get the Bear Hole Trail then. It's not far from the bridge. Just around that bend up there is the bridge that we just came across. So we're almost there at Bear Hole Trail. And then Bear Hole Trail, that hike is like the longest part of the hike to get to the cabin. There isn't much elevation change. You know, you go up a little, down a little, but for the most part, it's generally flat. I hear a helicopter. I don't see it though. But we're not far from Fort Indiantown Gap, and they do a lot of helicopter training. So helicopters flying around the area is a pretty common thing. Oh, there it is. It's gonna come right over. They probably can't see me, but I'll just wave anyway. We made it to Bear Hole Trail. Not quite, almost. So when you get to Bear Hole Trail, you can either go to the right or go to the left. If you go to the right, that'll take you down to Lickdale. And if you go to the left, that'll take you towards Pine Grove. And you'll actually end up in like Swopes Valley. So we're gonna go towards Pine Grove, and Bordner Cabin is right along Bear Hole Trail. So Bear Hole Trail actually used to be what we called, growing up, because I grew up in Pine Grove, and it was known as the Old State Road. It used to be the main route to get from Pine Grove to Lickdale before 443 and 72 came in. And then when 443 and 72 were built, then they kind of, I don't want to say abandoned, maybe decommissioned this road, but you could still drive it with your vehicles. And I remember some Sunday afternoons where we would just hop in the vehicle and just take the Old State Road and go for a nice Sunday drive. But then years later, the state park came in, and, you know, they did some renovations to it. They ripped up the road, and then they put this gravel trail in, and it turned it into something nice then. And actually in the fall, I think one time a year, 1 October Saturday, I think it is, they actually opened the gates to this Bear Hole Trail, and you can drive through the park with your vehicle. I see it barely through the woods. You can kind of catch the snow on the roof there. I don't know if this camera will pick it up. This camera is not too good at picking out things like far away. But there it is. We made it to Bordner Cabin. So yeah, you can actually hear 81 from here. Interstate 81 runs right at the top of the hill there. So Bordner Cabin. Let's come over here. I believe this is called Rattlin' Run. Runs right by the house. How cool is that to walk out on your porch like that and have this right there? Mr. Bordner found a perfect location to build his cabin. And he built this cabin completely by hand from everything in the area, like all the rocks and all the logs and stuff. And then this was built in 1939. Mr. Bordner was a shop teacher, and him and his students built this cabin. Okay. So cool in here. Now I can see why Mr. Bordner loved this place so much. Look at those waterfalls right out the back window. And these are called Acriggs Falls. And it's inscribed there on the stone, on that big rock. You can see it says Acriggs Falls. If you go through the cabin, they have pictures up on the walls of what the room looked like when it was furnished. When Armar, I think his name is Armar, we'll call him Mr. Bordner. When Mr. Bordner and his wife lived here, this is what it looked like. Looks like a little kitchen table over here at this window. And then this was the living room. You can see what the fireplace looked like. And this picture is actually showing out back there. Go look in this little room here. This looks like a bedroom. Oh yeah, yep. There's a bedroom right here. We have any pictures? No pictures on the wall here. So let's go out here on the side porch. Oh yeah. Very cool. It's flowing pretty good now. I don't know that I've seen it flowing this fast. Which makes it look even better. But there you can see on the rock, it says Acriggs Falls. You know, we didn't check out upstairs yet, so let's go upstairs. Oh, I think this is a guest bedroom at one time, if I read that correctly. The guests could stay up here if they wanted, which I'd want to be up here. I'd want this to be my room, actually. And here's a picture of the living room with the stairway. Slippery. Here we have Armar Bordner. He was 90 years old when he passed. Here he is with his dog at the bottom of Acriggs Falls. So when the state park took over here, they were actually going to tear this cabin down. Armar Bordner, he fought to try and keep this place standing, which kind of made some people in the area bitter because they didn't have the same result as Armar had. They actually lost their homes because they were actually going to flood this whole area and turn it into like a huge lake with a dam. Things changed since then, and now this is part of the park, and I'm glad it's still standing because we get to come here and enjoy this beautiful cabin. I remember growing up, coming down this old state road when it used to be able to drive here. This always looked very creepy. And it does kind of have a creepy look to it with the windows out and stuff like that. And they didn't have the banisters in, it was just the open windows. We always believe that this place was haunted. And we never even went in there, never knew how beautiful it actually is inside. Then when it became part of the park and we went in there for the first time, it totally changes the perspective on this place. You know, because growing up, it's the creepy old abandoned log cabin, and here it's like this amazing place with an amazing waterfall and a lot of history behind it too. So not a bad way of starting out 2026. And we got a little bit of a late start because this was actually supposed to happen last month. Then we got this like Arctic blast here in PA, and it got really cold, and then we got a snowstorm the week after that. We just didn't feel like going out in the snow and hiking in the snow, but here we are in the snow. But it's a lot warmer. It's like 40 some degrees, so we'll take that. Yeah, heat wave. I don't see my snowman.
I was gonna say, where's he at? He toppled.
Here lies Frosty. He's destroyed now.